Hey everybody, this is Chombox.
And Nishi here. What is up, guys?
This is a rare treat for Nishi to be in the driver's seat at this particular set.
Especially for a deck profile, which I think is the first one I've done here.
Yeah, so welcome to the second Tactical Master deck profile, where this time we're taking a completely different angle. In fact, this entire set has 3 different angles of playing Yu-Gi-Oh, which is very interesting.
Very different.
What are you going to be introducing to us?
So I am super excited to showcase the Labyrinth deck profile. So this is a trap-heavy archetype, right? So a lot of different trap cards, a very control-based archetype, which I personally am really fond of.
Oh, I know.
So yeah, the theme is that you have a castle and a labyrinth, and all of the different traps in your deck are to disrupt your opponent who's trying to enter the castle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
lots of theme.
Yeah, lots of ways to disrupt your opponent, and you can do some really cool things. You can activate like Torrential Tribute on turn 0, like when your opponent's going first, making it really hard for them to set up.
Good luck board building when everything's gone.
Exactly. Okay. So very disruptive deck, very strong. So yeah, I'm excited to show it off.
All right, and of course, this video is sponsored by Konami, so thank you for allowing us to do this.
For sure.
And I guess, without further ado, here we go.
Let's do it.
Oh boy.
Alright guys, so we are starting off with the main deck monsters here. So to kick things off, we have 2 copies of lovely Labyrinth of the Silver Castle. So this is your boss monster for the strategy. It has 3 pretty interesting effects here. So 1, while it's face up on the field, your opponent cannot activate monster effects in response to the activation of your trap card. So they can't use like an Ash Blossom to negate your Welcome Labyrinth, which we're going to talk about later, obviously. It has 2 other effects that are each once per turn. So one is a ignition effect where you can take a trap card from your graveyard and set it to your side of the field, but you can only activate that trap card if you control a fiend monster, which fortunately is okay because the deck has multiple ways to get fiend monsters onto the field. And then it does have a final trap effect where if you activate a trap card and you remove a monster from the field with that trap effect, then you get to destroy a card either on your opponent's field or a random card from their hand.
Oh, that's so good.
That's really good. So
random card in their hand, rip?
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. So really great boss monster. Super fun.
29.
And it's big, yeah.
That's big.
So you guys want to get this card onto the field as often as you can. But fortunately, we do have a way to revive it from the graveyard as well. So it's okay to discard, but lots of ways to bring it out, which is one of the main focuses of the deck. Next up, we have 3 copies of Ariana. So Ariana is one of the better starters of the deck. When this card is normal or special summoned, you get to search for a Labyrinth card from your deck. So we're not often searching the Lady Labyrinth, we're actually going to be searching the Trap card, which is used to summon out the lovely Labyrinth. Great starter for the card that gets you access to your entire engine. So all of the Labyrinth monsters, they have effects where if a monster on the field is removed by the effect of your Trap card, then something happens.
Okay.
So with Ariana, you get to draw a card when that happens, and then after you draw a card, you can choose to either set a spell or trap card from your hand to your field, or special summon a fiend monster from your hand.
Okay.
So yeah, really good starter.
So she's the queen, and these are your servants.
These
are literally says servants. So,
yeah, these are the servants.
I put 2 and 2 together.
We do also play 1 copy of Ariane. So the second half is going to be similar, but it has an ignition effect where you can send a trap card from your hand or a trap card that's set on your side of the field to the graveyard to special summon a copy of Ariana out of your deck. So that would then trigger the effect of the Ariana. Okay. Its other effects are the same as with Ariana though. So if you use a trap to make a monster leave the field, you get to draw a card, and then you can also special summon a fiend from your hand, or you can set a spell or trap card to your side of the field.
Okay.
So next up, we play a couple of the smaller, I guess, decorations here. So we have the Labyrinth Chandraglier. So this is one of the smaller Labyrinth monsters. This has a quick effect from your hand. You can discard this card from your hand, or send this card from your hand or side of the field to the graveyard, as well as discard 1 other card from your hand to set a Labyrinth trap card from your deck to your side of the field. It can't be activated that turn, but this means that during turn 0, you actually have the ability to set cards so that when you actually have a chance to go, you can activate that trap card. And then this card, again, remove a monster on the field using the effect of a trap card. You can take this card and then add it back to your hand from the graveyard. So a lot of recurrence here because you can add it back to your hand and then discard it for a card effect later on.
Sounds good.
And then very similar one here, we have Stovey Torby.
right.
First effect being very similar to the Chandraglier. You can discard this card and another card from your hand to set a Labyrinth spell or trap card from your hand or deck. But then this card, when you remove a monster from the field, instead of being added to your hand, you special summon this out onto the field.
Seems a bit better.
A little bit better, so it's a Fiend because you want to have Fiend monsters on your side of the field for some of the effects to activate.
All right. Out of the main hall, into the kitchen, and now where are we going?
So that's it for the Labyrinth monsters.
Oh, we're leaving the Labyrinth.
We're having some of the guards that we have in the Labyrinth now. So we have 3 copies of Absolute Backjack. So this card is actually really, really crazy. So when it's sent to the graveyard, you get to look at the top 3 cards of your deck and then rearrange them in any order.
Yep.
And then while it's in your graveyard, you can banish this card to reveal the top card of your deck. And if it's a trap card, you can set it to your side of the field, and you get to activate it this turn.
Ah, stacking. Legitimately a stacking effect.
Legitimately a stacking effect. So what this means is that if you know, like you see what your opponent's playing against, the Labyrinth, they do have a way to get this card into the graveyard when your opponent is going first. You can use the effect of the Stove or the Chandraglier to get this card into the graveyard and get a trap card set that you can activate on turn 0.
Oh, that's how you can get that torrential tribute.
Exactly.
Ah,
So we'll show that a little bit after, but really, really cool here. And then one last monster card that I play is 2 copies of Lord of the Heavenly Prison. So this, because we are playing like 20 trap cards in the main deck, we do want to protect our back row. So that's why I run 2 copies of Lord of the Heavenly Prison.
Ah, so you have a prison in your place.
I have a prison within the Labyrinth.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So yeah, we'll go on to the spells now. All right, so for spell cards, we're running a pretty small spell card lineup. So we are just going to play 3 copies of Pot of Extravagance. We don't really have too many other draw cards in this deck, or draw effects, aside from Ariana and Ariane. So Extravagance is a really, really great way to just build some card advantage. Also, we aren't really that concerned about going into the extra deck, so banishing cards from your extra deck randomly face down isn't going to be too big of a concern for us. And then we do play 2 copies of Labyrinth, kind of a confusing name, but this is a card that you guys want to have on the field at all times, but you don't want to draw multiple copies of it. So if you activate a set Welcome Labyrinth normal trap card, so we're going to show the trap card after, you also get an additional effect on the Welcome Labyrinth where you get to pop a card on your opponent's side of the field.
That's great.
Yep, so that's really, really good. And then if a non-Labyrinth trap card is activated, then you get to special summon a Fiend monster from your hand or graveyard. Okay. So if you do happen to discard your copy of the lovely Labyrinth, right, so your boss monster, then you can still summon it back out using the field spell.
Okay. Next, trap cards? That's a lot of trap cards.
We got a lot of trap cards to go over here, guys, but these are kind of like the crux of the deck, right? Because a lot of your card effects are going to activate when you use a trap card to make a monster leave the field. So we got to play a lot of traps here to meet that condition.
All right, let's go.
All right, so starting off, we play 3 copies of Welcome Labyrinth. So this is one of the key cards for the deck because this will allow you to summon your boss monster directly out of the deck, or potentially another Labyrinth monster if you just need to get a body on the field. Do note, though, that it does lock you into Fiends from your deck and extra deck until the end of the next turn.
Next turn?
Yes. And then also, if this card is in your graveyard and you make a opponent's monster leave the field by the effect of your trap card, then you can set this back to your side of the field.
Sweet. Free cards.
Free cards, which are always good. So you can summon another body out of the deck, or you can send it with the effect of Ariane. Lots of different things. Next up, we play 3 copies of Archfiend's Ghastly Glitch. So this is not a Labyrinth card because it doesn't have Labyrinth in the name, but it is an important card. This is one of the reasons why you want to keep a Fiend monster on the field at all times. So you have to control a Fiend to activate it, but it's really good because you get to destroy any card on the field as well as send 1 Fiend monster from your deck to the graveyard. Okay. So it can dump any of the monsters that you can trigger their effects out of the graveyard. Next up, we play 3 copies of Compulsory Evacuation Device. Really, really simple, right? We're targeting a monster on the field and returning that to your opponent's hand.
Removal.
Free removal, great if we're getting rid of extra deck monsters, but it makes it very, very easy to meet the condition of using a trap card to make your opponent's monster leave the field. Next up, we play 3 copies of Torrential Tribute. This is the one that is probably like the most disruptive that you want to see off of those backjack hits. But yeah, very, very devastating card because it wipes out all monsters on the field, and pretty simple there.
Good luck setting up the initial board.
True. Next up, we do play Dogmatica Punishment. So
Oh.
this is another form of basically free removal, right? We get to dump a monster from our extra deck to the graveyard to get rid of an opponent's monster, but we don't really need to go into the extra deck all that often. So free removal here. Next up, I have 2 copies of Ice Dragon's Prison here. So Ice Dragon's Prison is a little bit more of a situational card, right? So you're getting rid of a monster potentially on your opponent's field and from their graveyard, so banishing both copies, but it does still also meet the condition of getting a monster off the field with the effect of a trap card. But I do run just 2 copies here because I feel like it isn't as generically useful as something like Compulsory Evacuation Device or Torrential Tribute.
But the impact is higher.
The impact is higher, especially in certain matchups with a lot of players looking at Sprite and Tier Limits. This can be a really good way to get rid of cards from both the field and graveyard because they play out of both areas.
That's true.
And then last card here, I don't think we need to say too much about this one, but 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence just for general disruption and effect negation. Okay, so the extra deck here is obviously isn't a final version or anything because it does kind of depend on your local scene and what decks you're expecting to run into, as well as what potential techs you're running in your side deck, right? However, we want to keep in mind that this is a deck that doesn't go into the extra deck all that often, so that's why we are playing the Pot of Extravagance, and you can feel free to be very, very flexible with your choices if you're choosing to side like a Super Polymerization or a Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries. A couple cards I do want to talk about though. We do want to play 3 copies of Link Karibo because we can normal summon the Absolute Backjack and then link it off into Link Karibo, and that will trigger the graveyard effect of Absolute Backjack. And we're running 3 copies of it because this is one of the main ones that we want to use. So even if we banish 1 copy off of Pot of Extravagance, we want to make sure that we have access to it just in case. Next up is 3 copies of Elder Entity Entis. So exact same logic here for why we're running 3 copies, just in case we banish some off of Pot of Extravagance. But this is our dump target with Dogmatica Punishment, allowing us to pop an additional card on the field for free. I did here include 1 copy of Wind Pegasus Ad Ignister in case we wanted to send this off of Dogmatica Punishment as well. I have a couple of Super Polymerization targets in here because I'm a really big fan of Super Polymerization, and I would probably run that in my side deck here. So I have Muddragon of the Swamp and Garura the Wings of Resonant Life, pretty straightforward. And then the rest of the spots here, you know, these are kind of like more flexible spots, right? They're definitely not as rigid. They're probably not as likely to come up. But because we do play both Ariana and Ariane, I have a few different rank 4 monsters here, depending on what it is that you kind of need to do. So Abyss Dweller, Gaga Cowboy, and number 41 Bagushka. So all of these just having different generic rank 4 useful effects. I put a rank 8 in here because technically you can make this card with 2 copies of the boss monster Lovely Labyrinth, number 38. This is probably one of the better generic rank 8 monsters that you can make because it does provide some spell negation. And then I also had here 2 copies of Double A Zeus, just the 1 extra copy just in case you banish 1 off of the Extravagance. But if you do decide to go into the rank 4s or the rank 8, this can be a really, really game-changing card that you can put on top of any of those Xyz monsters and turn the duel in your favor.
Okay, earlier you mentioned that you can activate Torrential Tribute during your opponent's turn. So say this is the opponent's turn, they've just performed an action, they're performing a few summons, there's about 2 monsters on the field. How do you get it done?
All right, so here we're going to activate the effect of Stovey Torby. So this is the quick effect where we can discard this card, and we're also going to send the Absolute King Backjack from our hand to the graveyard. And this is going to allow us to go into the deck and set a copy of the Welcome Labyrinth. So we can't activate Welcome Labyrinth right now, but this is set to our side of the field this turn, so when it's my turn, I can activate this and I can bring out my boss monster.
Okay.
Now, in a separate chain link, Absolute Backjack's effect is going to activate because Absolute Backjack was sent to the graveyard, so I'm going to use its effect.
In this case, this has been set up so that we can showcase what would happen. So you hit a Torrential Tribute in this instance.
Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the trap that I want to excavate with the effect of Backjack. as the next card that I'm going to draw.
Okay.
But what I'm also going to keep in mind here is that the card that's in the second spot, that's most likely going to be the card that I draw for turn. So I'm going to put the card that I want to see right here, and I'm going to put a less desirable card at the bottom. So what this is going to do, I'm going to put those to the top of my deck. Now I'm going to use the effective backjack because we are in my opponent's turn to banish it, and I'm going to set the copy of Torrential to my side of the field, which can now be activated this turn. So I can flip Torrential if I need to. And then of course I've set up my next draw for my following turn.
Ah, okay, that makes sense. So, but remember, this is kind of like Tier Limit's Halfness. You're not guaranteed to hit the correct card.
Yeah.
But if you do by chance hit something like Torrential Tree or even a Dogmatic of Punishment, it can be quite devastating to your opponent.
Yeah, and that's a big part of why we play so many different trap cards in the main deck, right? We're playing like 20 different traps because you want to have a high chance of hitting one of those cards when you're discarding backjack.
All right.
All right, so we'll shuffle up this time and see what like your standard opening hand might look like. Let's see.
I want to do the cut.
You can cut.
I can cut. All
Just to make sure I'm not stacking.
Yeah, but you can't stack on this is absolute backjack.
All right, so are we assuming I'm going first?
Yeah, you're going first.
Okay, so Ghastly Glitch, second Ghastly Glitch, Ariana,
That's pretty good. Ooh.
Punishment, and Compulse. Okay, so
Is this a good hand?
This is a pretty average hand, I think, for this deck.
Average
Right?
hand.
We're opening. It's good because we're opening a starter and we have multiple forms of disruption in our back row.
Okay.
So pretty simple here. There's not really much to show, but we're gonna normal.
This is
summon
not a
Ariana.
fancy combo deck. We're doing 20 steps.
No crazy combos here, but we're gonna normal summon Ariana, and then we're gonna search for Welcome Labyrinth.
Set 5 pass.
Set 5 cards and pass. So imagining all of these different things in your back row, right? So we have a Fiend monster that's on the field, and we have 4 different ways to get rid of opponent's monsters off of the field.
Can you even get rid of something in their hand? I think you could.
We potentially could, yeah. So we would activate Welcome Labyrinth. All right, so we're probably activating Welcome Labyrinth pretty early in the turn, summoning the lovely Labyrinth of the Castle.
Oh boy, I don't want to be on the receiving end of this at all. That's a lot of removal.
Yeah, so now between like the 4 different cards, right? When we activate one of these to get rid of an opponent's monster, we can draw a card, and we can also use the lovely Labyrinth's effect to pop a card on your opponent's side of the field or in their hand randomly. Ooh. So whatever we draw, and then we draw into Extravagance, and we're all good.
Wow, Nishi, I've never seen anyone do that play before.
Normal summon and then set a
5
bunch
cards.
of trap cards. That's kind of how the deck works, but
It's not a combo deck.
it's not a combo deck. But a lot of really, really powerful trap cards in the game, right? Because traps are slower. So it is what it is. If you want to take advantage of them, make sure that you guys check out the Labyrinth archetype. They're really, really cool.
They're really fun.
Yeah, I'm going to be playing them at locals this weekend, so we'll see how they do. Hopefully you don't play against me, Tom.
Maybe. I hope you enjoy my deck for tomorrow.
What's that?
Oh, we'll find out. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and ding that notification bell. If you guys enjoyed this video, smash that thumbs up button. And, say hello to Nishi.
What's up, guys?
Well, I guess we'll see you guys in the next one. So don't forget to hold on to your MST.TV.